we move on now to our next speaker, who is he's just getting ready now, just getting mic'd up, and he'll be on his way over very, very shortly indeed. So this next session is Everysense Everywhere. Everysense Everywhere, the human communication. Now, the gentleman who's about to present on this stage indeed is actually somebody with a whole long list of many awards. He's done many things throughout his career, and he's going to share a little bit about it this afternoon on this stage. In fact, this is the gentleman who's the inventor of the human Pac-Man, Huggy Pajama, electric taste machine, Kissinger, and many others as well. The winner of the Distinguished Alumni Awards from the University of Adelaide as well. Young global leader by the World Economic Forum as well. And also by Nesta, one of the top 10 within the top 10 technologies of 2015. Okay, this is a gentleman who I'm sure is getting ready. He's on his way, I believe. I can see him there. He's just getting ready. And we're getting ready as well, a table on the stage. Incidentally, remember, we have our hashtag, which is CeBIT 17, but also for the conference area, just for the conference area, we've actually got our own hashtag there as well, hashtag CG17, which is basically everything that is to do with this conference, everything you see, the experiences, the quotes, the images, everything else you see, you can actually get from that hashtag indeed. Okay, our gentleman is here already. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Director of Imageneering Institute from Iskandar, Malaysia, Professor Adrian David Cheok.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I will talk about how we can use all of our 5 senses to communicate through the internet, and we're going to show a few demonstrations of our work. I'm based in Iskandar, Malaysia, but I also teach in University of London. So how can we use not just audio and visual, but all of our 5 senses to communicate online? If you know about this famous samurai, he was blind, but he could still win all of the battles, even though he was blind. And that's because he could perceive the world with all of his other senses, just like we can. But if you look at the current state of technology, Norbert, great. Look at the current state of technology, we basically interact with computers through glass. Either we're touching the glass of our laptop or smartphone, or we are looking at the desktop computer screen. So it's like in the real world, if we could see through the window, but we can't open the window, we can't touch, we can't taste or smell through the window. And also related, science has shown that non-verbal communication is very important. In fact, some psychologists say that it's more than half of human communication. So if we're just communicating with audio-visual, we lose a lot of communication online. And that's why still people will travel. For example, you'll come to Hanover to meet people, to network. It's still different than to interact through Skype or messaging. So I believe that in the future, we will go to a new age of internet. We will move from the age of information that we're in now. We have access to unlimited data, and then we'll go to the next stage of the internet, which will be the age of experience, where we can share any experience online through the internet. So let me first talk about vision, because this is where I first started doing research in augmented and mixed reality. And I started off actually by working on a military project in Singapore. And I got a big grant when I was very young, and it was to make augmented reality for soldiers in the urban combat situation. So for example, they could look at buildings and streets and look under the ground, and they could see X-ray vision or augmented vision. And we made this system. This was the early 90s. There was no smartphone, and we spent a lot of money to make a wearable computer augmented reality system. And when we finished that project, I thought, how can we use this for new kinds of interaction, not just for military? And when I was a kid, I loved to play Pac-Man. So I thought, why don't we make a human Pac-Man using this technology so that someone can walk through the city streets and he or she can be the human Pac-Man or Pac-Woman, and they can see the cookies in augmented reality and walk through them and collect them like they're a Pac-Man. And their friends are chasing them in the city streets who are like the ghosts.
A wearable computer.
Here's a video to show you.
Display and various sensors which we have, which is sensing my
bit louder,
body
please.
position,
Sound.
and as well as the head orientation, so we know exactly where I am and what I'm looking at. So when we do this, we can then augment the real world which I'm in now with the virtual world. So this Pac-Man world, I'm seeing it as part of the real world. I can see cookies in front of me, and I'm walking through them as if I'm the human Pac-Man.
So that was done in the early 90s, and you could see that backpack. It was about 3 or 4 kilos of circuit boards on my back. It wasn't very wearable. But now, of course, you can do it with your smartphone. And you can do it for free. You can download an app, and you can play games like Human Pac-Man completely free. So it shows you how far we've come in just 10 or 15 years, from millions of dollars of equipment that we did to make that to zero. It costs nothing now. And so we've really come a long way in terms of augmented reality. And I also note there is a whole hall now, one of the halls, I think 17, devoted to AR and VR. So it is really now commercial reality, or this kind of AR. But not just vision, but also sound is very important for augmented reality. And in fact, I think that sound was the first mass market augmented reality. Before Sony invented the Walkman, it was impossible to have your personal sound. But once Sony came out with the Walkman, everyone could have their own sound, no matter where they were, in the city streets, riding the train. Everyone could have their own augmented sound. So I think sound was the first augmented reality. But even now, in the 21st century, we can make very interesting interactions using just sound. And I want to show a work of one of our former students at Keio University in Japan. And he made a project called Amagatana, which is a kind of turning a very simple object, umbrella, into a samurai sword. Because, you know, in Japan, probably the same in Germany, it rains, but then it stops raining, and it's kind of very tedious to carry the umbrella. So he wanted to make it easier and more fun to carry an umbrella. And so he turned this umbrella into a virtual samurai sword, just using sound. So I'll show you a video of this now. Whoops. Sorry. No. Here we go. I can see it here. Here we go. And you have special moves, which you can see next, special moves. And even if it's cold, like it is now in Germany, this can still be a fun system called Fuller. Measures your muscle contraction. And you can combine the two together.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So you can see even just sound can be very exciting, even now, 21st century, for interfaces, computer interfaces. But now I want to talk about the senses that we don't normally think about when we're talking about computers: touch, taste, and smell. Touch is a very important sense. And in fact, there were some studies done on infant rhesus monkeys. They put them in a cage, and they could choose between two fake mother monkeys. One had the food, the milk, but it was made out of wire. The other one looked like very realistic, furry, but no food. And almost all the time, the infant rhesus monkeys would choose the furry mother monkey. And even they have to stop the experiment so the infants don't starve. So maybe touch is more important even than food, even for not just for monkeys, but for humans as well. So I wanted to make some systems that we could touch through the internet. And I thought a very good way to start would be to see, can we touch our pets through the internet? Because we still can't talk to animals. So if you're here at the conference, you can't give a telephone call to your pet cat or pet dog. But normally you'll hug your pet. So we want to make a hugging system that you could communicate to your pet through the internet. So basically, you have a physical doll which measures the touch, the pressure, and then it transmits that touch through the internet. And then your pet, in this case a pet chicken, would feel the hugging sensation on her body. And of course, the next step we wanted to do was to make a system where people could hug each other through the internet, so human-to-human hugging. And we made a system called Huggy Pajama, where parents and children can hug each other online. So you can be at a conference here in Hanover and hug your child in Berlin through the internet. You can give them a telephone call and also give them a hug through the internet. I'll show you a quick video of this system now.
The future is coming fast, and your world will never be the same.
The future, behold.
There are few things in life more comforting or intimate than a nice, big hug.
Notice the sense
No
of
technology, it was awesome.
At the Mixed Reality Lab in Tokyo, Japan, Dr. Adrian Cheok and his team are making it possible to reach out and hug someone, even if that someone isn't there.
Adrian, at this mixed reality lab, you have a lot of strange things going on. I can't figure this one out. It looks like a cross between a torturous life vest, rain jacket. What is going on, and who is this?
Well, this is Nancy, my student.
Hey,
and
Nancy.
Mixed reality is not just about visuals. It's also about mixing all of our senses with the virtual world,
Okay.
including touch.
Touch. So this is a touch vest.
That's right. Through the internet now, you can email someone, you can do video chat, but you can't touch someone, you can't hug someone. So with this
Oh, sure you can. No. I've seen people do it all the time. You put a little asterisk, you say hug, and then you put another asterisk, and then they know you've sent them a hug.
It's so important for human communication to touch and hug each other.
So Justin Timberlake brought sexy back. You're bringing hugs back.
That's right.
How does this replicate a real hug?
And if you just give a hug.
My expert hug.
Yes. We did a study of expert huggers such as yourself,
Okay.
and where you put your hands is where we put our special hugging actuation system on the body.
Hugging actuation system.
So this system here
Yeah.
will replicate the feeling of where you
So
are.
it's going to apply some pressure where my hands would be.
Exactly. It gives a kind of feeling of the human hand caress
Okay.
on your body, on the body.
Let's see it work.
With Nancy far, far away in another location, Adrian takes out a controller and transmits his virtual hug via the internet.
And then you can see that this hugging pajamas connected to the internet produces the hug in the same spot. We can both wear such jackets, and then interactively we can have a hugging and caressing together through the internet.
What if I wanted to smack it like...
He's coming.
Okay, running a bit of time, so I stopped a bit at the video. But we made this hugging pajama, and then we realized that it's still going to be a long time away before people wear hugging suits every day in their normal lives. I think it'll happen in the future, though. So we wanted to make a smaller version of this hugging pajama, and we looked at what kind of objects people easily wear on their body. So, for example, necklaces and bracelets and watches, earrings and rings. And rings is kind of a nice interface because it kind of also symbolizes friendship or love, and people exchange rings if they get married. So we wanted to make a ring where you could squeeze the ring on your finger and then send a squeeze or mini hug to your friend anywhere in the world. So basically, it's a small ring which has a 4-sensor, high-speed vibrating motor, and LED. You can change the color. And you can connect it to all of your social networks. So you can, for example, send a hug to your Facebook friend or Twitter friend easily online. Here's the picture of the actual devices. It's still a little bit big. And you can see that we are putting all of the circuit in the top of the ring. But we are now working on a circular printed circuit board so that we can make a jewelry-sized ring, and you can send a squeeze to your friend easily with a hugging ring. Now, one thing I want to say is that when we reproduce the sensors online in the digital world, we don't just have to emulate what we can do in the physical reality. So, for example, in the physical reality, we can only really hug one person at a time. You can only shake maybe one person at a time. But in the digital world, you have new modes of interaction. You could have many-to-one or one-to-many. So many-to-one, for example, there might be some famous pop star, and maybe millions of people want to hug him or her, and you can't do it. But if you pay $1 or $2 on the Google store, then you can send a hug to someone through the internet. So that's a many-to-one model. And what about one-to-many? Well, let's say you've just got a promotion at your work or pay rise, and you want to tell all of your 1,000 Facebook friends, you can send them all a hug instantaneously. So that's another model. It's one-to-many hugging. So digitizing makes new modes of communication as well. Now, not just hugging is important, but also kissing is a very important interaction. We kiss our friends and lovers and family. You kiss your grandmother on her birthday. But you can't do it if your grandmother lives in New York and you live here in Germany. How can you kiss her on her birthday? So we've made a device which is a Kissenger, and it's a device that you can send a kiss through the internet anywhere in the world. So we made a device which is now this can attach to your smartphone, and what you can do is you can give someone a video call so you can see them, and then at the same time you can kiss them online. And we have a real live demo here. So I'd like to call for one volunteer to try our kissing machine. Don't worry, it's all being cleaned with alcohol. So. Okay, yes. Thank you. Very brave. Thank you. Please come up. Yes, great. So this is Emma, my PhD student. So you can see these devices have a silicone lip Okay, so what you need to do is press the device on, press the, yes, that's right, on your mouth. And then Emma will also do it. Yes, that's right. So you could be anywhere in the world, but kissing each other online. So now we'll try it. And you should be able to feel the pressure from Emma's lips onto your lips. And also she can feel your pressure. Yeah. You can feel it? So this can be done anywhere in the world. We can be in different countries and kiss each other. Is it working? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very brave. Thank you. That was the first internet kissing in Germany. First time we've done that in Germany. All right. Thank you. Thank the brave lady. So you can imagine this being used in different scenarios. For example, father could be kissing his daughter. She just got a scholarship for MIT. She's in Boston. And then they can both kiss each other. Congratulations through the internet. So now I want to finish my talk about taste and smell. And these are two senses which we very rarely think about in terms of when we interact online or interact with computers. But just like touch is very important, so is taste and smell. And in fact, scientists have found that taste and smell, the neurons, pathways, are concentrated around the limbic system of our brain. And that's the part of our brain which is also responsible for emotion and memory. So it is very true that a smell or a taste could help trigger some emotion or a memory. You might remember grandmother's cooking when you smell something, and it's because it's interlinked in our brain. So we should have taste and smell because it's very important senses through the internet. So we've been working on a device that you can attach to your smartphone and send someone a smell. So for example, it's your friend's birthday, send them a smell of a chocolate cake or a strawberry. And we've been working with one of my friends in Japan. He's an entrepreneur. We made various devices, and they're smaller and smaller, and now the device is very small and can attach to your smartphone. So I'll show you a video of this device now.
Food is inseparable from the history of mankind. And now, 2013, introducing a whole new approach to food, tasting and savoring food with your nose.
This means nose barbecue.
How to 1, choose. 2, insert. 3, smell. 4, eat. And that's all there is to it. So, are we ready to savor this? Let's say you're a student with no money. All you need is some white rice and your stomach will feel satisfied. Let's say you're a woman on a diet. Obviously, calories are not an issue when you're dining at Hana Yakiniku.
So now we're going to show a demo of this again. So I'd like to call for a second volunteer to come and try our Senti device. Yeah, oh no. Yes, please, thank you. So we have the Hana Yakiniku app. Let me just try to show. Probably can't see very well, but you can choose 3 different kinds of barbecue. Okay. And you hear the sound of the meat frying. And then? Okay. Can you smell it? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, quite realistic. Okay, she's quite realistic. Okay. So you can have any smell, but this one is a barbecue app. Yeah. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Give her a clap. Thank you. Okay, so
Food
Sorry.
is in.
we've been working with various partners, and one of the more exciting ones was we worked together with a restaurant in Spain near San Sebastian called Mugaritz. It's one of the top restaurants in the world. And Chef Andoni, you can see with the glasses on the right-hand side, he is a very innovative chef. And he said in the 21st century, the chef is not just about cutting carrots and cooking meat, it's about making experiences. And he sees analog and digital as part of the same repertoire to be a chef. So we worked together with him, and one of his signature dishes, which is this mortero, and we made an app where you can virtually cook this dish using gestures on your smartphone, and then the smell would come out from your phone. So it's a way of experiencing Mugaritz restaurant, even if you can't travel there, or even if you couldn't go there. And we released this app in a big festival like this, but it's about gastronomy called Madrid Fusion, and I think it was very, very well received by the chefs. And also we've also been working with advertising companies. Advertising is also all about changing people's emotion. And so we work with a company called Oscar Mayer, and they make a lot of small goods like meats and salamis and things like that. And so they wanted to make a device called Wake Up and Smell the Bacon in USA. And I should say our lab is in Malaysia, so anyone Muslim here, this is beef bacon, okay, not pork. Okay, so I'll show you the. I'll show you the. Oh no, it's not there. Anyway, basically, it was a device that instead of waking up to the sound of a horrible alarm that you hate, it had the sound of bacon frying and release the smell of bacon. And of course, they hope you wake up and want to eat actual bacon. So you can check it on YouTube. You can go and see the video, Wake Up and Smell the Bacon. And it's a very good example of how advertisers are already using these smell devices. But there's one big disadvantage of these scent devices that we're making, and that is that it requires chemicals. And you have to load up the chemicals into the device, and eventually it's going to run out. So it's like the inkjet printer. You have to keep replacing the cartridges. So I think the way forward for internet taste and smell is to stimulate taste and smell without chemicals, and that's what we're exploring now. So we're making devices, for example, that you could taste without using chemicals. And what this does is it stimulates the taste receptors on your tongue, and your brain receives a taste sensation, but actually it's virtual, kind of virtual taste. So we've made a device which is an electrical taste machine, and you put the electrodes on your tongue, and it will produce some excitation using electrical signals, and to produce a perception, artificial taste in your brain. And most people can feel, for example, sour, bitter, or salty from this device. We have another device to produce sweet, which is using another kind of stimulation. So now I'd like to call for the last volunteer to try this electrical taste machine. Anyone? Yes, here we go. Great, thank you. So, yes, so what you need to do is put your tongue in between these two silver electrodes, okay? And now it's off. It's off. Sorry. It's clean. Don't worry, with alcohol. So you can hold it.
Okay.
All right. And you put your tongue in between the electrodes, and we'll turn it on now. And you should feel a sour sensation. Yeah. Yes, he said yes. Okay. And now we can change it to a lemony taste. A little bit slight different lemony taste, yes. So we can also produce different, like the salty, bitter, and sweet with another kind of machine.
Oh, why not inside?
Inside?
Because inside should be sound and other. This one only the.
Oh, so the tip of your tongue. Yeah, actually, we found, that's a very good question, but scientists have shown that all of our tongue can taste any of the 5 senses. So we can put it anywhere in the tongue, yeah. But anyway, thank you very much. Very brave man, thank you. Thank you. All right, so we are now working on a device which we're testing now in our lab in Malaysia, together with the university, UTM, University of Technology Malaysia, to produce smell without any chemicals in a similar way to this, but stimulating the upper part of your nose. Actually, the technical term is nasal concha, and that's the part of your nose which can receive smell. So I'm going to show you a concept video because we are still doing this experiment as we speak, but this is a concept video. Let's have a look. Mee rebus is a Malaysian food. So you insert the electrodes in your nose, into the upper part of your nose, and to produce a virtual smell. We have stimulation of current at different frequencies that we're experimenting on what smell they can produce. Okay, so this is a work in progress, and as I speak right now, my hardworking students are testing this on 100, 150 people to see what is the relationship between different frequencies of current and possible smell stimulation. Hopefully next time we can report on the results. But I just want to end now to say that, just as I was saying about touch, when we can digitize taste and smell, we don't need to just reproduce what we have in the real world. So at first it'll be very, very cool to, for example, send the smell of an apple, send the smell of a strawberry. But we can make new kinds of communication once we digitize these sensors. So for example, now it's very difficult for children to cook. Because there's fire, there's lots of sharp instruments. My daughter's 10-year-old in the front here. She tries to cook, but it's a bit dangerous. But in the future, you can imagine that kids could program or code food on a computer or an iPad and then send that smell to their grandmother anywhere in the world. And I mentioned before about Chef Andoni from Mugaritz. So he can not just cook in the future just for his restaurant, but he could cook for a global audience. So just like now, you watch CNN, you watch the cooking channel, you'll be able to taste and smell any chef's food through the internet. And also cooking as a kind of collaboration. In the days gone by, cooking was a great way to socialize. For example, grandmothers and grandfathers would cook with their grandchildren when the parents were away at work or something. But now it's difficult because a lot of grandparents live in different cities from their grandchildren. So in the future, when we can taste and smell through the internet, grandfather could cook with his grandson through the internet, and it's a way of social bonding. So to summarize, I think in the future, we're going to move from the age of information that we are in today to the age of experience. We'll be able to share with anyone, anywhere in the world, all of our 5 senses, including touch, taste, and smell. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Adrian David Cheok.